Hello, little audience. Welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. I'm Thundercloud. Mum calls me James. Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad. Washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains. Let's have some fun linguistic games. Welcome back, Gladys. Good to see you again. Hi, Ashley, Sky, and everyone else who's coming in soon. Yeah. But in the meantime, we'll begin with acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast today. The Kamilaroi and the Bangwai people acknowledge a continuing connection to the land of all the First Nations people right across this island of Australia. We acknowledge the continuing connection of the elders past, present, emerging, and acknowledge sovereignty has never been ceded. A treaty is what's asked for. Tonight, I'm going to do a few CJ Denis ones. He's very famous because he wrote these verse novels. His most famous characters, like Doreen, out of A Sentimental Bloke, but he also wrote a lot of children's verse. But as well, CJ Denis was Clarence Stanislav, something like James Denis, something, he had a very long name. He was very fond of the birds of the bush, of the trees about Arden, his home at Tulangi. And in 1935 he got together a large series of verses on the subject, together with various prose sketches, which had been published in the Melbourne Herald, and put them into a book entitled. Oh yeah. Entitled The Singing Garden. No fewer than 50 kinds of birds are enshrined in verse, and the method used is the anthropomorphic one of having them tell their own stories. The book, therefore, is not specially distinguished, but both the verse and the prose are warm with sunlight. This was Denis's last book. A quotation from its final poem appears on his tombstone. So The Singing Garden, and now I'm reading tonight out of a selected verse of CJ Denis, published by Angus and Robertson books, back there in let me just find that information, 1955. Well, we'll start with the place that he's writing about, his home. Green walls. I love all gum trees well, but best of all I love the tough old warriors that tower about these lawns to make a great green wall and guard like sentries this exotic bower of shrub and fern and flower. These are my land's own sons, lean, straight and tall, where crimson parrots and grey gangangs call, though many a sunlight hour. My friends, these grave old veterans, scarred and stern, changeless throughout the changing seasons they, but at their knees their tall sons lift and yearn, slim spars and saplings prone to sport and sway, like carefree boys at play, waxing in beauty when their young locks turn to crimson, and like beacon fires burn to deck spring's holiday. I think of Anzacs when the dusk comes down upon the gums of Anzacs, tough and tall, guarding this gateway, diggers strong and brown, and when through winter's thunderings sound their call, like Anzacs too they fall. Their ranks grow thin upon the hill's high crown, my sentinels but where those ramparts frown, their stout sons mend the wall. green walls. The lyre tail is obviously the lyre bird. Far in the forest depths I dwell, the master of mimic of them all, to pour out my secret dell, echo of many a bushland call, that over the forest spills, echo of many a birdland note, when out about the timbered hills sounds all that borrowed lore that fills my magic throat. I am the artist, songs to me, from all this gay green land are sped, and when the wandering canopy of my great fronded tail is spread, a glorious veil at even's hush above my head I do my part. The wren and robin, finch and thrush are all re-echoed in a rush of perfect art. Here, by my regal throne of state, to serve me for a swift retreat, the little runaways radiate, and when the tread of alien feet draws near, I vanish ever prone to quick alarm when aught offends the secret ritual of the throne. My songs are for my mate alone and favoured friends. I am the artist none may find in the world a match for me, rare feathered loveliness combined with such enchanting minstrelsy. In a land vocal with gay song, I choose whate'er I may require. I wait, I listen all day long, and then to music of a throng, I tune my lyre, the lyre tail. It's a lovely, lovely rhythm to the poetry there. Yeah. Here we go. This one's the Indian minor, so yeah, a bit of a blowing. Give me the town and its clamour and clutter, I ain't very fond of the bush. For my cobbers, the coves of the gardens and gutter are a tough metropolitan push. I ain't never too keen on the country feed life. It's the hustle and bustle for me and my wife. So swagger and strut, a cuss and a swagger, I'm wise to the city's hard way. A bit of a bloke and a bit of a bragger, I've always got plenty to say. Learned through knocking about since my people came out from the land at the back of Bombay. But out in the bush I'm never a ranger, there ain't nothing to see. Beside them bush birds got no time for a stranger, so town and the traffic for me. I sleep in the gardens and loaf on the street and sling off all day at the fellas I meet. And I swagger and scold and strut and I swagger and I pick up me fun where I can, or I tell off me wife who's a bit of an agger, or scrap with the sparrows for scran. I bronze her at bluff and I give you my word, for between you and me, I'm a pretty tough bird. The Indian miner. Yeah, so yeah, that this was anthropomorphic sort of thing. You take it on the voice of the Indian miner there, and maybe I needed to put on an Indian accent like that because I'm an Indian miner. Well, the satin bowerbird. See, I've got my own bowerbird poem here, so I have to take on the persona of a satin bowerbird. I got to dance through the bower. Okay, dummy dance. Spare a bloom of blue, lady, to adorn a bower. A violet will do, lady, any azure flower. since we hold a dance today, we would make our ballroom gay, where the scented grasses sway and the tall trees tower. Beautiful but shy lady, yesterday we came, dropping from the sky, lady, flecks of golden flame and royal blue. We have come to beg of you any scrap of heaven's hue for our dancing game. Spare us but a leaf, lady. If our suit be spurned, we shall play the thief, lady, when your back is turned, ravishing your garden plot of the choicest you have got, pansy or forget-me-not, counting it well earned. Then, if some rare chance, lady, later should befall, and you gain a glance, lady, at our dancing hall, you'll find your blossoms there, mid our decorations where, with proud patrician air, we hold the bushland ball. Yeah, nice, isn't it? Lovely, like a beautiful poem. I don't like the word nice, but beautiful. Yeah, again, taking the anthropomorphic voice of a satin bellbird. Okay, well, and the last one here, last poem in the whole book, is called Dusk. Now is the healing, quiet hour that fills this gay green world with peace and graceful rest, where lately, over opalescent hills, the blood of slain day reddened all the west, now comes at night's behest. A glow that over all the forest spills, as with the gold of promised daffodils of all hours, this is best. It is the time for thoughts of holy things, of half-forgotten friends and one's own folk. Oh, all the garden-scented sweetness clings, to mingle with the wood fire's drifting smoke. A bullfrog's startled croak sounds from the gully where the last bird sings, his laggard vesper hymn with folded wings, and night spreads forth her cloak. Keeping their vigil where the great range yearns, like rigid sentries stand the old wise gums. On blundering's wings a night moth wheels and turns and lumbers on, mingling its drowsy hums. With that a far roll of drums, where the swift creek goes tumbling midst the ferns. Now, as the first star in the zenith burns, the dear, soft darkness comes. Dusk. Yeah, well, that's some of the more beautiful poetry of CJ Denis, and that's been a real pleasure to read that out here to you tonight.
Pleasure to listen to. You read him very well because of your liking for him. Stuff.
Yeah, it's my practice. It's actually my practice of reading. Because I'm doing a Tuesday and a Wednesday, I'm getting out loud reading practice, and Sky is improving fantastically as well.
I still think you read him with that extra glow from him and to him.
Yeah, and I think I'm able to slow it down and give it that real feeling. Like I could really feel where he was coming from. Would you like to come up, Ashley, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on up.
Well, yes, listening to James read CJ Denis reminded me that in that time there was the half-blind poet who had his last weeks wandering around casino, and whose poetry is very similar to that one about the autumnal feeling of nature and winter and night coming upon us. Well, I have been listening on LibriVox to The Planter of Malatta, which is set in Sydney, at Sydney Harbour, amongst other places. And I hate it, but I'll persevere with it because I know when I get to the end of it, I'll look back. And as always, I'll be fascinated by Conrad. And this week I was talking to James about what a brilliant writer Kipling is, and I read for the first time Friendly Brook, and such a rich, sardonic, yet strangely simple piece of writing and satire from and to the bush, the English bush, hardly could be imagined. A remarkable piece of writing. And here are my friends: hypothesis, implication, and test. Or hypothesis, implication, and parameter. And maybe hit is better than hip, because we do have to test all hypotheses and discover their ongoing implications continually. We can't really say that any knowledge is settled, except that we know we have to keep testing. I have been wanting to read this. I wrote it down off the wall inside. It's one of A.D. Hope's great poems. I was thinking of Shaw Nielsen earlier, if anyone was wondering what poet is he analogising with CJ Denis. It was Shaw Nielsen. And they have somewhat similar faces, actually. Now I close my eyes and see their eyes. Shaw Nielsen has puzzled the French deeply. This is a poem by A.D. Hope, As Well As They Can. As well as it can, the hooked fish, while it dies gasping for life, threshing in terror and pain, its torn mouth parched, grit in its delicate eyes, thinks of its pool again. As well as he can, the poet blind, betrayed, distracted by the groaning mill among the jostle of slaves, the clatter, the lash of trade taps the pure source of song. As well as I can, my heart in this bleak air, the empty days, the waste nights since you went, recalls your warmth, your smile, the grace and stir that were its element. Well, it's nice to have that sort of regret. Many of us have had and have, and it's a gift of life that we can have that sorrow. What's the old saying? Better to have loved and lost than never to have... The first stanza I'll just do once more because of its poignancy. Yeah. James has got this hanging upon the wall there, so Australians can cast their eye upon A.D. Hope's good compassion, I think. As well as it can, the hooked fish, while it dies, gasping for life, threshing in terror and pain, its torn mouth parched, grit in its delicate eyes, thinks of its pool again. I remember when I first read that, how it impacted upon me. And as I read it, I can see him still in that interview I went to, where he spoke for an hour or so to a small group on a cold Canberra winter afternoon. And I can still see his face. In France has popped up twice today. They used to run these 3-sentence competitions between the two world wars, and they were immensely popular. Maybe we should do it at Guyron's. I was saying to Gladys, put 8 or 9 of them up on a wall for half a year or so. 3-sentence stories.
Yes.
I'm sure we'd get some beauties out of Guyra. Anyway, these are 3 that I did this week. And I always like to do these. I've got a book of them somewhere from my scribbles over the last 2 decades. They came home with Over the Limit from the lake. Mum refused to cook them. That night the cats had a special glow and purr to them. The second one, James is groaning. He's got sympathy for fish. Fish are popping up Freudian-wise tonight. Well, the sea's in the fish and the fish are in the sea. I once read sitting in the library that David Malouf describes in Jono so poetically, perched above the Brisbane River, next to the old bridge. The blind man played harmonica regularly for 6 months opposite the bank, not the river bank. The blind man played harmonica regularly for 6 months opposite the bank. He did not appear at the corner the day of the robbery or ever again. People wondered, was there connection between the blind musician and heist? And 2 more. This is true. Sadly, this relates to one of my 3 friends. No, I joke. I've had more than 3 friends. But he was a special presence in my life. I would sit with him and his wife in Tulgum Creek, which is a small valley, the western end of the big valley of the Tweed Valley, up against the cliffs and mountains. Very spectacular place. And this is, I suppose, dedicated to dear old Arno Stock. There were 3 sentences. One for death from a government judge. The second military judge ruled retrial. And the third was imprisonment. He told this story many times in his new Australian home, how being locked in jail saved him from enemy bomb raids if he'd returned to his home city on leave. Yes, he went back to Hamburg after the war, to Hammerberg, and he came to the area in the suburb where his family factory, I suppose twice the size of this building had been, at least, and he couldn't find it. And he used to show me these photographs of a rubble sea, a sea of rubble, reflecting really a sea of trouble. So here's my last one that I did. The A-level class was entered in the 3-sentence short story competition. Her students entered into the comp with gusto, but Mary Gold seemed unhappy. The year was 1960, and passing a bookshop window, the words Mary Gold Jones bestseller available could be seen as the queue shuffled the pavement, expectant to buy the new publishing tour de force. So, I'll have to dig out my book of these. I used to love writing them. I've got quite a few. But it's a custom. Oh, here's Paul. I've been missing and wishing his licorice voice and his efforts to bring to resurrection that jail man. What's that jail man? The jail singer? Who am I thinking of? More, the deep voice. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. I received a letter in the mail And Paul will be very happy because this theme's in with Bazza the Baz and John and Ono. He misses them, he's been missing them. Anyone watching anew, they're characters who wander around the New England, and they are illuminatory, visionary characters. Our letter arrived at the hotel. I live in a room with an 1870 gas fixture. I live at the heart of Armidale. People look at me strangely when I say that it's St Kilda, and then they never say anything. They go completely silent because I do live at the heart of Armidale. I received this letter and it said, on the front it had Aucus, Acus, Socius, Ocus. And I thought, and on the back it had from Mr. I.L. Ledger and I. Mr. I.L. Ledger and I. Anyway, this was what it contained. I've received this morning. Dear Mr. Albanese, I am writing as you like writing and reading. I thought you would like to know. We've all been wondering where John and Ono and Bazza have become on the abouts. A little bit of bad grammar there, but where they've become on the abouts. Well, I'm writing to give you the slick on them, the templating of this mystery. Counting the boats moored at Coffs Harbour I was, the other arvo, I espied them. I knew it was them, because they had a toy balloon, a baby dirigible going aloft, tied to a vibrating fluoro antenna, and the words Armidale Dirigible Hostelry Association, electronic blazing on the side, saying also tickets to be sold here. I found this odd. They're still selling paper tickets in this era of press button purchase and receipt. I was on the verge of pulling out my mobile and flashing it at them for being techno cloddites. Also beside them, seagulls perched atop a squeaking, fiendishly 5-metre high robot. The cybernetic thingamajig was looming wharfside. It had a girdle of silver light from which a projecting proboscised. When I approached them and examined the robot, which I presumed sold tickets for ADA, the Armidale Dirigible Association, they moved away from me more clearly towards the projector barrel of their cybo companion, a projector barrel that stuck out from this girdle area. Would you like beer, Jeff? Things go better with beer, you know. Geoffrey, do you prefer? My name or the beer, I wondered. John and Ono was most polite. Come on, things go better with beer. Bazza the Baz seemed somewhat distracted. Perhaps a little of both. He is our Bazza the Baz, was, reading my thoughts, I thought. You haven't been seen much around Armidale lately, you two. Well, it's like this, Jeff. We've become part of an experiment. A simulacra, so to say. S-I-M-U-L-A-C-R-A. Craculacra, simulacra. I don't really understand what you mean, I said. Well, that's why we're part of the experiment. Well, nor do we fully understand the higher over-under realms of the higher significations. The robot intoned at this point. Jeff, would you like 445 mils of Arkling, sparkling German-style lager? Arkling? Oh, just a linguistic sales pitch to connect our product to the float descriptions for New England Coffs Coast aloft the Mire Ahoy rides. You mean joy rides, don't you? No, our company offers Joy Ahoy and steins of beerism, all in one integrative, totalising package. Well, I was impressed, almost seduced as it could be, and how I love could be to rise aloft, wafting on the latest science and art of the hot air balloon. Our company plans to offer sync scripturing scriptions. I think that's what I heard coming from Cybernetic Electronic Talk Fest. When the next tide comes in too. What do you mean? I asked. Oh, cossack, us. Fuckus this riscus, Australia's uckus, oikos, submarine. computers seem to be agitated on this program. What I mean, to quote Australia's national paper today, Dare to Embrace Greatness Day. And as I opened the large letter, I was confronted by Murdoch's daily headline today. And up the top, the words are Dare to Embrace Greatness. Has Mr. Murdoch resurrected Friedrich Nietzsche, he of the moonlit sunny Lauder, to correspond with his network? Because the top section says, a dare to embrace greatness. Well, no, just Greg Sheridan. Sheridan, who's he? Well, Jeff, in the whole world doesn't ask that question. He made me feel my ignorance. As Jono was expostulating thusly, I could no longer see Baz of the Baz. He seemingly had vanished, the Baz. I didn't have time to see all the possible dimensions of this and that, because hovering erect directly, as Baz had vanished, directly above me, it was coming down by parachute, as they do, you know, into the Coffs dock, the latest CIA MI6 ASUO drone. It landed. I realised John Onono was no longer there with me either. Both men had vanished. I was caught up in what was happening. It was fate. It was destiny. Where are we? Are we? Mr. Albanese, where are we? The letter stopped at this point and plaintively went on. Please explain to your auditors what is underfoot. But he had me with a big circle around it. I presume, and so I decided to write and solve this mystery. Why did a balloon, a parachute, drop a drone onto the Coffs deck next to a 5-metre robot by which two famous men of New England law, LORE, LAW, would never have them in a court, had vanished? I presume, Mr. I.L. Ledger, that you were the victim of techno-hallucination. You were confronting a hologram, a fully dimensional hologram, unbeknownst to yourself, but not, I presume, to our Anglo realm overwhelming security forces, designed to bring Baz of the Baz and perhaps his ever too trusting mate John Onono into alignment with attack forces, planning to use the warm and cold currents and environs meeting north and south on the Coffs coast for broader geostrategic experiments and concealments of the undersea's future. Well, thanks for sending today's headlines, Mr. Ledger, our Freedom Fleet. And I have penned a poem for Mr. I.L. Ledger on this intercontinental issue of the fishy world. And he asked me, would I write a poem as he finished his talk to me. I was impressed it arrived with paper and pen. And this is the poem I wrote. I think I'll hold this up while I intone. Truly a prophetic vision, this short ditty for Australian oceanic future. Our freedom fleet, our freedom's fleet, so fleet, on the turning tide, so fleet, that's the feet for the fleet. The buoyant keels in sunsets burnish, wait to dive, oh, fleet, the fleet where freedoms keep, our freedom fleet. I'm glad Paul walked in. He asked to hear from John Onono and Bathurst. Of course, we didn't hear from them directly, but a man who's been watching our show, looking around the pier where all the teenagers dive in gravityless abandon into the frothy foam next to Neptune, he was there knowing that they would be lurking in amongst the boats.
Thank you very much, Ashley, Albanese, Yeet. It's wow. The A.D. Hope one at the beginning, that's a beautiful piece of poetry. Yeah, sad.
The one he wrote for the Pope's death is an extraordinary poem too. Do read that
I
sometime.
think I have read that. Not out loud though. Oh, maybe I did. I went through like 4 days where I didn't write any poems this week, like up until 4 days ago. So, yeah, here's what I did write, and then I'll get back on to CJ Denis, one of his more famous ones. Every day is poetry day. Every day is play day. Every day is what you make of the day. For some, every day is complaint day. Every day is a day to dance. Every day, most people wear pants. Every day, French people are in France. But state of being is more important than the circumstance. Hi, girl.
I got a Facebook from Paris last night,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what it was about.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Funny.
All right. Well, hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, just got a new audience member. And hello to all the people out there in YouTube. A few announcements before we go on. First of all, the 25th of March, that's next Saturday evening, next Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, the Fury Musicale, the Armbandale Chamber Choir is coming here. There'll be 30 plus singers and a 5-piece chamber orchestra in the middle. They stand around here. It fills this place with beautiful music. 3 o'clock's next Saturday afternoon, and it's $35 or $30 for a concession, and it's fantastic. And they're doing J.S. Bach's St. John Passion. St. John Passion. So really beautiful.
They reckon
music.
it's good.
Yeah. And then on the 1st of April, we've got the Fool's Bush Dance with the Big Hairy Bush Dance Band coming here. And that's from 6 o'clock till 9 on the 1st of April, Saturday the 1st of April. Tickets are $15 for grown-ups, $10 for not grown-ups, and it's a state of mind thing really, isn't it? And then there's $45 for a family of 2 and 3, 2 adults, 3 kids and whatever. And so that's going to be heaps of fun as well. And on top of that we've got the Australian Poetry Slam coming here heat in August, the 16th and 17th, and then we'll have a poetry festival and competition here in November as well as our regular Wednesday nights, chilling Tuesday with Thundercloud and Sky, and that's also visualisationable on YouTube, and anything else happening here? Yeah, market days as well, and yoga with me on a Saturday morning. Plus, Seahorse Medicine Cafe's got a wonderful range of vegan, gluten-free and lactose-free food available of all kinds of stuff and delicious stuff with my new raw vegan consultant, Sky. Yeah. All right. We're going to level it up here. Right, now one of the more difficult but famous CJ Denis poems is the play, and it's about a young fella who takes his date Doreen to see Romeo and Juliet. It's a tricky one because it's full of abbreviations and shortened language and slang of the time. So please bear with me. I'll do my best to put myself in the zone.
Still works.
It does.
I mean, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It's great.
What's in a name, she says, and then she sighs and clasps her little hands and rolls her eyes. A rose, she says, be any other name would smell the same. Oh, wherefore art you Romeo, young sir? Chuck your old pot and change your moniker. Doreen and me, we've been to see a show. A swell $2 touch, bon ton, you know. A chair apiece with velvet on the seat. A slap-up treat. The dramas written by Shakespeare years ago about a balmy goat called Romeo. Lady, beyond the moon, I swear, says he. And then he climbs up on the balcony. And there they smooch a treat with pretty words like two lovebirds. I nudge Doreen, she whispers, ain't it green? Her eyes are shining and I squeeze her hand. What's in a name? She says. Struth, I don't know. Billow's just as good as Romeo. She may be Julia or Juliet. He loves her yet. If she's a tart he wants, then she's his queen. Names never count. But I like Doreen. A sweeter, dearer sound I never heard. There's music hangs around that little word, Doreen. But what's this I starts to say about the play? Oh, I'm off me beat. But when a bloke's in love, its thoughts turn her way like a homing dove. This Romeo is lurking with a crew, a dead tough crowd of crooks called Montague. Is Clinner's push what's nicknamed Capulet? They has him set. Fair narcs they are, just like them backstreet cliques. Except they fight with skewers instead of bricks. What's in a name? What's in a string of words? They scraps in old Verona with their swords. They never give a bloke a stray dog's chance, and that's romance. But when they deals it out with bricks and boots in Little Lon, they're low, degraded brutes. What's just plain stoush with us right here today is valour if you're far enough away. Sometimes some rider bloke will do the trick with Ginger Mick of Spadger's Lane. He'll be a Romeo when he's been dead 500 years or so. Fair Juliet, she gives her boy the tip. Says she, don't sling that crowd of mine no lip. And if you run again a Capulet, just do again. He swears he's done with lash, he'll chuck it clean, same as I done when I first met Doreen. They smudge some more at that. Strike me blue. Gives me Joes to sit and watch them too. He'd break away and start to say goodbye, and then she'd sigh. Oh, Romeo, and get a stranglehold and hang around him like she feared he'd bolt. Next day, he words a gospel cove about a secret wedding, and they plan it out. He spouts a piece about how he's bewitched. Then they get itched. Now, here's the place where I fair get the pick. She is for keeps, and he lets her slip. But it just makes me sick. A fair gazob. He's just so glassy on the soulful sob. He'll sigh and spruik and owl, a lovesick vow, a silly cow. But when he's got her spliced and on the straight, he cruels a pitch and tries to kid its fate. Fate me foot instead of slooping soon. He was wed and off on his honeymoon, and his cobber called Mick Curio, they have to go. and mix it with that push of Capulets. They look for trouble, and it's what they get. A tug named Tybalt, cousin to the skirt, sprags them and makes to start to sling off in the dirt. Next minute, there's a real old ding-dong-go, half round or so. Blick Curio, he gets it in the neck. Oh, rats, he says, and passes in his check. Quite natural, Romeo gets all wet as hell. It's me who you yells, and with a yell, plunks Tybalt through the gizzard with his sword. Oh, I encored. Put in the boot, I says, put in the boot. Hush, hush, says Doreen. Shame, says some silly coot. Then Romeo, he don't know what to do. The cops get busy like they always do, and nose around until he gets blue funk, and does a bunk. They wants his tart to wed some other guy. Ah, strike, she says. I wish that I could die. Now, this here gospel bloke's a fair shrewd head. Says he, oh, don't ya? So they think you're dead. I tips he was a cunning sort, what knew a thing or two. She takes his knockout drops up in her room. They think she's snuffed and plan her in a tomb. Then things get mixed a treat and starts to whirl. Here's Romeo, comes back and finds his girl, tucked in a little coffin all cold and stiff. In a jiff, he swallows Lysol, throws a fancy fit, head over turkey, and his soul is flit. And Juliet wakes up and sees him there, turns on the waterworks, and tears are air. Oh, dear love, says she, I cannot live alone. And with a moan, she grabs his pocket knife and ends the cares. Peanuts or lollies, says the boy upstairs.
3 cheers for CJ Denis.
Oh,
Hip hip hooray!
fantastic! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Brilliant piece of writing, isn't it? Well read. Oh, that's a brilliant piece of writing.
Yeah, it's first time I ever read it was just a shocking reading, but yeah, it's really something.
Is that the first time you've
No,
done it?
no.
But you're getting the sculpture.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing.
Mm. Yeah, I'm finding as my reading improves, I'm better able to take on the voices of the different, and flow with it. Yeah. All right. Where we going to get Gladys next? We've got Gladys back. Gladys is back with her latest little that she's been working on.
Johnson, right over here.
Yeah.
South of the Murray River.
Right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, where it all happens. I've been rehearsing my latest poem, The Swagman's Journey, and I've got it knocked down. I'm very happy with it, and over the next week or two, I should be doing it. But I've got one here tonight, and this one I wrote during COVID. And I've read this many times, and this is simply called A Roadmap of Life. Our lives are like a roadmap, with many twists and turns. As we follow the winding pathway, there's still much more to learn. But the journey in life, of course, is a challenge that's now placed in our hands. to guide us through good and bad times as this great universe expands. There are many bends we must navigate on this never-ending road as you share together the burden to lighten every load. Now in this ever-changing world, we still should have a choice to stand up and be counted or speak with just one voice. Even sometimes though, we need to stay strong and take comfort from those around us when little things go wrong. Never take our time on earth for granted, as one very wise man once said, and always be aware of those warning signs ahead. But Father Time waits for no one. He knows the reason why, as the old clock on the mantelpiece keeps ticking as each day passes by. As we all look forward to a brighter future, that's part of our master plan. So let's stand together united to do the best we can. Now this one here, this is what I was talking about campfires. And I have an affinity with campfires, and sometime I'm just going to get someone to drop me right out in the bush with a campfire. This is beauty of the bush. Nothing can compare to the beauty of this wide open space here in the great Australian bushland that could never be replaced. In nature's paradise though, we seem to have it all, our precious flora and fauna, plus the magpie's early morning call. Now as the evening shadows creeps across and smoke from the campfire fills the air, out in this wonderful part of the world without worry or a care. Gum trees on the hillside now awaken as another day dawns anew, while a carpet of wildflowers and ferns all sparkle with the morning dew. But there is nothing better than being in this bushland but below, with the moon sailing overhead and each star shining brightly from above. Here in all this wilderness, where we can surely dream that only our famous artist Namatjira can paint his magnificent scene. Many can still remember good times out on the beaten track, carrying their swags here in the great outback. With those days now finally gone, but the ghost of bushmen from our past, their spirits will live on. Now looking at our rugged landscape far as the eye can see, but the spirit of the bush will always be home to me. That's my story. Yes, the other one's coming up quite well. I'm quite happy with it, and it's, as I said, on a swagman. And years ago, in my days of growing up, they were probably quite around. They'd be on the road walking. But yes, so I've been going over it all day and rehearsing it. And of course tonight I'll be awake thinking what next I can put down. So hopefully that one's coming up. But then how far on there, because I'm certainly not going to make a career in poetry, so I can tell you. Okay, good evening everyone. Oh, no, it's not.
Okay. Get that up there, and I'm back. Right. A few short little quick ones that I've written this week, and I've only written a few short little quick ones this week, and then we'll get Paul on up here because we'll welcome Paul. We'll be back in a moment. Here we go. Here's a thought for you. Darwin is closer to Mongolia than Melbourne is. And Melbourne is closer to Antarctica than Darwin is.
Say that again. My mind didn't quite get. Say that again.
It's just a stupid thought. Yeah, Darwin's closer to Mongolia than Melbourne is.
Is that true?
Yeah, well, like
No,
Mongolia's there.
it's true. And closer to Darwin than Darwin is to...
No, I didn't say that Darwin is to Melbourne. I said that Melbourne is to Mongolia. That's a stupid, that's just a stupid thing. Yeah. Here we go. I thought about it much so my brain doesn't hurt. Why don't I go to the synagogue, mosque or church? It didn't take much. Aha! I know, of course. It's because I'm already connected to the source. We all are. And the last one, Mr. Malongo, there was another little quickie writing before I went to bed, and I sort of fell asleep before I could finish anything more than 2 verses. So, Mr. Malongo was a bit of a drongo. He tried to store his ice in the sun, tried to toast a juicy lamb roast, tied his shoelaces together to run. Mr. Malongo had 2 sets of bongos, but he didn't know how to drum. Didn't know how to hit, his rhythm was shit. So he resorted to Bundaberg rum. That's it. Yeah, that's as far as Mr. Malongo got. And Paul Wood, come on up. Welcome back. Our crooner extraordinaire, Paul Wood.
Stop kissing my ass, Jim. That's quality.
Alright, now this fella's a good mechanic, ladies. If you can't fix your car in there, and go and steal you a new one. Yeah, this fella went to a meeting that premature ejaculation support group. Turns out it's tomorrow. Now this fella knows that dolphins that die without any money get a pauper's funeral. Now this fella went to the zoo to watch the monkeys wanking, then he went to the crocodiles and he was still wanking.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Now this fella's the couple next door to this fella made a very, very hot sex tape. They just don't know it yet. Now give this fella a great big hand now, come on!
Now look. Hey James, I feel like COVID stuff that you put on it, should I wipe myself?
No, just stick it in your mouth.
Just put it there.
Yeah. No.
1.5 metre.
It's all right.
Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Now I've been just sitting here absorbing James's great work. All I can remember is French people and pants. That's all I remember out of it. Nice eulogy. Now I'm here tonight for no particular purpose except to entertain the minions out there, my fans, all those people out there in TV land. Now, I normally have a repertoire, a bit of a subject that I spray on about. I've walked out of camera. Thank you, Sky. I can't be closer. Can you adjust me, please, James? I'm a good sort. Thank you very much, James. I'm a good-looking fella. You're a good-looking fella. I mean, I'm a good-looking fella. Come on. All right. Enough of this senseless banter. Now, I normally rattle on about some very earth-shattering subject. It might be the opera. Now, would anybody like to hear about the opera? Anyone got any interest in the opera, I guess? Ashley?
Always like that.
How about motorcycle racing, bodybuilding, philosophy, mathematics, ancient history, the Bible? Oh, Ashley. Okay. All right, well, I'll pass on that tonight. Now, what I'm going to do again, as I normally do when I've got nothing to talk about except prattling bullshit, is to throw the mic open to the audience, take questions from the floor.
A song.
Yeah, you're going to get a song. No, you can't avoid that punishment. That's coming, don't worry. Now, the song I'm going to sing, what I'm going to do to break the show, make it more entertaining, right, to break the boredom and to let the masses come back awake again after deep contemplation with all that intense partnering. Now, this song, I heard you earlier, Ashley, when I sort of crept in through the portal. Something about a guy in prison with a deep voice or something. Yes. Okay. Well, it just so happens I have got a prison song. Now, the crying, mournful songs.
Johnny Cash.
That's Johnny Cash.
And I'm 72.
Would you like to hear a little bit about Johnny?
Yeah.
Born in 1932 in Arkansas. Johnny Cash. His mum and dad were very poor croppers, sharecroppers. Well, not really, they got a government grant in Dice County in Arkansas, and it was bad floodplain reclaimed off the Mississippi River. And what they did, they made these cartwheel communities with land radiating out from a second track, and each of them was about 23 to 30 acres. And these people, they got a hut built by the government because his dad was a serviceman. They got a hut built, a smokehouse, they got a cow, they got the land, and that was basically a roof over their head, a cow to survive on whichever they could, and the dirt under their feet. And Johnny Cash was born there. He had a brother. They're very, very strong Christian people. His dad was a bit of a roughneck. Mum was very solid. And he had a brother that he idolised, an older brother. And the older brother was almost saintly. And he tried so hard, as I did when I was a kid, to try to rescue my family from my dad. My dad needed my help to survive, and I felt I had to do something. And the older brother, Johnny Cash, the older brother who he idolised, the brother was working in a sawmill after school, and the blade exploded and killed him. And he died slowly, had horrendous injuries. He was torn, it went right through and they couldn't put him back together, and he died slowly as a kid, right? And it had a very profound effect on Johnny Cash. It's had a very profound effect on me too. Now, I could talk all night about Johnny Cash. Would you like me to? Yes, is that a yes? Is that a yes? Okay.
Terrible story about his brother.
It is.
Yes.
And it reminds me, as in my sad songs, that all the words in these very sad songs from the South happened in real life for those poor people that were on the edge of starvation, sidetracked to the American dream. Now, just because James is deep in study on his next poem and taking no notice at all, I might just sort of light him up with a song. Now, this song is called... Can you remind me, Scott, what it's called? Just a brain fart. Would you know?
Johnny Cash?
Could be. Could be. No, it's not Johnny Cash. Okay. Well, this one's a Stonewall Jackson. Now, there's a great country singer. He's recently died, a lovely man, Stonewall Jackson. Another man from the country. And he had great songs in the 60s, late 50s, etc. Stonewall Jackson, the Battle of Waterloo, that you would remember. And but this is a song that not many people knew, but it was popular in the region. It's a regional hit. Now, Stonewall Jackson, by the way, was a general in the Confederate Army. Now, I know that James knew that, but I'll just remind the people out there that might know that Stonewall Jackson was a general in a Confederate Army.
Do you know his final words?
What?
Do you know his last words? Strike the tents.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it this way. I wasn't at the at Gettysburg, but I was at Little Bighorn. Now, this song's called Life to Go. And they're good words, Scott, and these words will mean something to you. They'll pass over, they'll fly over James' head because he's not interested in his sentimentality. He's such a rationalist. Okay. This one's called, this is a Stonewall Jackson's song called Love to Go. I got a sad, sad story, friend, that I don't like to tell. I had a home and a family, for they locked me in this cell. Now 8 years a long, long time, I realize and know, but time don't mean a thing to me, 'cause I got life to go. I went one night where the lights were bright to see what I could see. I met up with an old friend who just thought the world of me. He bought me drinks and took me to every honky-tonk in town. Words were said and now he's dead, I just had to put him down. Well, it's been a long, long time now since I've heard from my wife. I'd be home there with her yet if I hadn't used the knife. I wonder if that girl of mine would realise or know that Dad's been in here 18 years and still got life to go. Well, there wouldn't be a man out there who's done more time in jail. I'll be locked here in this prison till my body's just a shell. No, I'm not free to go and see the ones that I love so. I've been in here 18 years and still got life to go. Yes, I've been in here 18 years and still got life to go.
And you don't up there for me, come on.
Now, we've touched on Johnny Cash, we can continue. But is there any other interesting subjects that you would, that, soon as I know nearly everything? Opera. Well, opera is a strange force in rather modern history. We think of the opera as ancient. It's not. It's rather a modern concept. And I mean, it had to come about when there could be reasonable lighting, reasonable staging, and things like that. And it's a combination of a lot of art. It's the art of music, the art of singing, the art of acting, also costuming and setting. So you see, it was really the movies of its day. There were spectacles. And of course, they had to be careful. There was great censorship, especially by the Catholic Church, even in those times. And of course, the great opera, Boetti's Mephistopheles, was, shall we say, an opera written from the devil's point of view. It's very interesting, and there's some great arias in it. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. But just to cover the subject, for all those squares, you know, that think they're cool and hip, that hate the opera, you know. Yes, it's very interesting. It's interesting if you listen intently. It's better heard than seen. And if you get the libretto, especially in a dual language, in French, in Russian sometimes, or German, and mainly Italian, and read the libretto, the words, and listen in Italian. Yeah, because it heightens experience. So to listen and to follow the libretto. Now, for all those people in a fast lane, that'd be too boring. Let me just touch on that subject. Now, would anyone like to hear another song?
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yep.
You would? Okay. Now, I've tried to sing this song a few times. I have to sort of defer to James' Wikipedia because I forget the words. James is on it. He knows everything. He knows all the words. He watched me stumble and fall. Brings him. What are they called? Schadenfreude. I'll try to knock this one out if I can. I'll try to knock it out of the park. That's it, home run. For all those ladies out there. Now this song, as I said the other day when I was just talking conversationally, having a nice coffee with James' Delicious Coffee. Now come on down and get a coffee at James's Coffee. It's not hallucinogenic, but it's nice and strong. Yes, I talked about this song, and it's called Nothing Was Delivered. Now I'm going to sing the song, and then in here, deep in here, is a virtual Mars bar. A virtual Mars bar for anyone who can tell me who wrote the song.
Holograms tonight. Hologram Mars bar.
Well, no, it's not quite that. You can probably get a hologram, but this one is a little bit more spiritual. All right. This one's called Nothing Was Delivered. Okay. Now I'm going to give it a crack. And if I go down like a stuka in flange, I don't care. Alright. This one's called... What was it again, Scott?
Nothing was delivered.
Nothing was delivered.
Okay. If you insist. No. Alright. Don't you hate it when people announce something, they start rambling on and rattling on, spraying on like, it's annoying, you get off the subject, start talking twat, I hate that. Get up and say they're going to do something, they start bloody talking, you start growing old,
They don't deliver it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now this one's cool. Now, the words in this song interest me because you can know everything you have to know about life in some pop songs because it arose to you and appeals to you. It'll be the arrangement of the words and how it's delivered will have an effect on you. And this one had an effect on me because the words maybe are an accusation, as people do in conflict with someone else when people get the shits in their relationships and they want to try to sort of defend themselves and destroy another person sort of thing, and it could be that. But it also could be the introspection of thought of a person who is truly analysing themselves.
Dostoevsky.
Well, not in, right? Hey, here's the fella that had the penis and lollipops upstairs in the seminal bloke. Let's forget about him. Okay. Now, I don't want to rave on. And stretch everyone scrotum over a rainbow. No, I don't want to do that.
Cruel image.
All right. What was it again, Scott? Can you just refresh my...
Nothing was delivered.
Nothing was delivered. Okay. Hi, Marty. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Misha. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Julie. Hi, everyone out there in TV land. Good to see you again. I'm looking down, watching you. Be careful. This one's called Nothing Was Delivered. Nothing was delivered, and I tell this truth to you, not out of spite or anger, but simply because it's true. Now you must supply some answers for what you saw was not received, and the sooner you come up with it, then the sooner you can live. Nothing is better, nothing is best. Take care of your health and get plenty of rest. Nothing was delivered, and someone's gotta say just what you had in mind when you made everybody pay. Now I know you won't regret this, giving up all that you owe. For the sooner you come up with this, then the sooner you can go. Nothing is better, nothing is best. Take care of your health and get plenty of rest. Nothing was delivered. I can't say I sympathize with what your fate is gonna be. Yes, for telling all those lies. No, nothing was delivered. And someone must explain. For as long as it takes to do this, and that's how long that you'll remain. Nothing is better, nothing is best. Take care of your health and get plenty of rest. Take care of your health and get plenty of
Rest.
Give yourself a hand now, come on. Now as soon as I'm holding James back, like I said, you ever seen those TV, what do they call them when you ring in and donate? What do you call that? They have a TV.
Yeah.
A what?
Telephone.
They have a telephone and they got a thermometer, the money's going, so James going to blow. He changed the thermometer, it's going red. So I'll just do another quick one.
It's a rectal thermometer.
I knew you go there, Jones. You can't help it, can you? That's okay. Everyone's born different, aren't they, John? Now this one's called At the End of a Long Lonely Day. Oh, by the way, would anyone like to retrieve this Mars bar? Who wrote that last song?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Ah, give up. Who?
Bob Dylan.
There's you. There it is. Yeah, let it put up your record. It'll fit in. All right. You won't have it.
To the
No, let it go. Let me look it up. Okay, looking at my date. Check it here.
Have you got a boomerang shape
Ah,
for Bazza?
look. No playing for bronze here, man. Knock me flat. Don't play for bronze medals. Okay. This one's called At the End of a Long Lonely Day. At the end of a long, lonely day without you, when the world seems to fall in my face, I'm alright through the day, but when day goes away, and a long, lonely night takes its place, another day to wish that you were near, I dread each lonely night that's filled with fear. Though I've tried and I've tried, there are tears I can't hide at the end of a long, lonely day. At the end of the day, I go back to my room and I watch as the sun fades away, and the loneliness there leaves me grief and despair at the end of a long, lonely day. Another night to sit alone and cry. It makes no difference if I live or die. With the world locked outside, I just lay here and cry at the end of a long, lonely day.
James McCauley.
Get up here, Joe.
James McCauley enjoyed watching you. He's just up there. Behind you.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's great to have you back, and your lovely voice in this beautiful Arcadia Theatre here.
Get them lips off,
What's that?
Yes. Well, just you wait and see. This is something I want to sing now. From Russia with love, I fly to you, much wiser, my goodbye to you. I've traveled the world to London. I must return from Russia with love. I've seen places, faces, and smiled for a moment. Oh, wind haunted me. Still my tongue-tied young pride would not let my love for you show. In case you'd say no to Russia, I flew, but there and then I suddenly knew you'd care again. My running around, I fly to you from Russia with love. That's Matt Monroe's From Russia with Love.
Oh, good.
James Bond. And now, back to the poetry of the week.
James Macaulay.
Yeah, okay.
Macaulay.
Now, what have we got here? This week, what have I been up to? Right. A few things. Let's get back to today's poetry. Let's start. Okay. This was this morning, and I went outside to write and sit in the sun before, and then sort of got interrupted, and hence the final line, which has got nothing to do with the rest of the poem. Autumn grieves summer days and fears winter is on the way. Spring breathes a sigh of relief. Anticipation displaces grief. Autumn sun is soft and cool. Spring rains are nature's tool. Winter brings the icy winds. Thunderstorms summer brings. And the and the zoo comes to visit. And the zoo comes to visit. Yeah, that's the end. And then, well, it was actually really odd because it was like coffee time. And I don't know how many of you get a bowel movement when you have your first coffee, but I know what I do quite regularly. So I just finished my first coffee, which actually meant I had a good excuse to go in, lock the door and disappear until 9 o'clock when it was opening time. And hence, write this sitting on the toilet, as you do. It's got language and concept warnings as well. And it's not really about anyone I know. I'll just put that into brackets. It's just sort of like a bit of a piss take.
Hey James, this won't knock off our G rating, will it?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, this will put us up next to Z. The human zoo, where there's little to do, but watch the humans watching screens. In the human zoo, all the humans are distracted from following their dreams. There's Auntie Mary with a cat, dog and canary who's addicted to Netflix, and Uncle Al who has a funny smell and likes watching porn with big black dicks. Remember to visit Little Jan, famous on Instagram and OnlyFans. Plus, SoundCloud Sam and his garage band, famous for his YouTube jams. The human zoo's a sad kind of place because most of the humans get off their face. There's crack, horse, stace, scabby face, shaking, walking about the place. Sit on the street, public toilet a beat. Sleazy Joe wants teen boys to eat. The human zoo isn't sweet. At menstrual time, it's like dogs on heat. That's it, and it's got TBC, to be continued. So yeah, I probably had to open for the day. There's more to that, definitely more to that. Yeah. I don't know where that one came from. That must be going back in time because that's last week's. And we've got maybe one more that I've got to read. I don't know if you ever know, if you know this, but like, because your body is like a magnet, like you got a north and a south and stuff, and it's like a toroidal field around it. This is each of us about 8 metres that they can detect. You can balance your magnetic field by sleeping like north-south, and then like halfway through the night you sleep south-north. You've got to change, and it makes you live longer. An aha moment. Solution found. Sleep on the ground. North-south, south-north magnetic field resets, of course. When I need to rest my head, sleep in bed, switch polarity and not be dead, magnetic alignment, create energy field great, increase the flow of chi correction at midnight. Change direction. Sleep your head in the bed, flip the switch or end up dead. That's it. You can probably find more about that, I think, if you listen to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, probably number 8. Okay, and then Little Boy Blue. Oh, Little Boy Blue. Okay, where's Little Boy Blue? Because the babe's in Thailand. Yeah.
This is not R-rated, is it, James?
Is it R-rated? I'm not too sure about that. I've got to find it first. This is inspired by this here book. It's a bit of a book. It's a little golden book, and someone's underlined this first page here. Hello, I'm Little Boy Blue. You know, the one who lost his horn and let the sheep in the meadow and the cows in the corn. I'm going to tell you a story of Babes in Toyland. And I just thought that was kind of funny. And Babes in Toyland used to be a band, right? But as far as I'm aware, but they obviously got it from here or something. And I don't even know what this book is because there's no cover, there's no back. But here we go. Little Boy Blue had lost his horn. So he went looking, walking in the corn. The sun was rising early in the morn. Walked past a sheep, freshly shorn. The sky was red in the misty dawn. Saw a cow and bull making animal porn. Snuck up on the bull, took its horn. Also took home a bag of corn for his breakfast that morn. Dropped it all because his bag was torn. Written on the bag it said, "We warn you, this bag is not for corn, it's for Blue Boy's horn." Every day another one's born. But regardless, his life was grand. So he went looking for the babes in Toyland. Took a sheep to lend a hand, past Tom Piper and his band, found the babes at the beach on the sand. They said, "Your wish is our command." So he took his horn in hand and danced with the babes in Toyland. The end. And that, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, anyone who identifies as a cat, truck, bird, pigeon, car. Someone identified as a car the other week, and
Submarine?
a submarine, yeah,
Yes,
definitely. That's the next
Can you
one.
identify as a lady's bicycle seat saddle? Is that allowed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was a moment of sociological change.
it definitely was. Well, yeah, you know, I had that one I wrote last week about changing the pronoun to, what was it, nulling or nullingar. We all together. Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for coming tonight to the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame Wednesday Words. Sky's got nothing for us to deliver, but that's all right. She almost lost her voice reading, what's her name, Poppy Sinclair.
Poppy Day. Poppy
Poppy Day.
Sinclair.
Yeah,
All set.
last night, yeah. So yeah, check out Chillin' Tuesday on the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame YouTube channel as well, because we've got readings there of some of our famous poets and more. So yeah, check that out too on YouTube. And don't forget to thumbs up, leave a comment, please, because it helps with the web analytics or whatever that stuff is. And thank you for coming, everybody, and good night.